Welcome to Football or Soccer, the podcast. Me, Sam Palmer, Tony Tafe, Chris Dyson, and we got a very, very special guest with us today, Derrick Williams.
Good to be here.
Current MLS player with Atlanta United. If you've followed the pod, you will know him as the Messi Slayer. We've been following it. We've been cheering you on. Me and Tone have been big fans. Thanks for coming today.
It's good to be here. Thought I'd jump on.
Yeah, it's good. So it's good to hear from current MLS player. We wanted to know a little bit about what's been going on in the MLS. Obviously, the big news for us, what we were following, you played Inter Miami in the playoffs, beat them. Emirates just nearly fallen over there. The 3-game playoff.
Yeah.
Beat them twice.
Yep.
Lost once.
Yep.
How was it?
So we actually played him 5 times this year.
This time, yeah.
Yeah. So 2 regular season
Yeah.
and then playoff. So to be honest with you, the first time was the most surreal.
And you won that game, didn't you?
Yeah, we won.
Yeah.
3-1 away. He scored. But I just remember, I was a massive Messi fan growing up. He was,
like the rest of the world.
Yeah. Just, in the tunnel, just looking at him, I was just thinking, fucking hell, this is it. Yeah. Can I swear on here?
Yeah, you can do what you want.
So I was like, Jesus Christ, this is unbelievable. And then I just remember, I think I told you the story already, but the ball would be on the other side of the pitch, and he's just looking at me. He's looking at the other defenders constantly, just seeing where we're moving, and I never experienced it. I've experienced strikers trying to drag me out of position and stuff like that, but he was just looking at us constantly, and I was like, what the fuck's he looking at me here?
Yeah. So he's not looking at the game at all?
Nah. The ball's down the other end. He's watching us, seeing how far we move over, how many steps we take to the left, to the right. Lucky enough, we played 5 at the back, which helped massively because the gaps are so much smaller.
Yeah.
So he knew where we're going to be. He turns, slides Suarez in, and you're just like, Jesus Christ. I constantly just, the stuff he was doing, I was just thinking.
So he's just because there's that game. I reckon that pass that he done it. I think in this year in the MLS, there's a pass where he does where no one can see it. I don't know who he was playing against.
I think
that game.
Red Bulls when he nicked it around the corner and get the 1-2.
Never, and he scores a goal.
Yeah.
But that pass is, even if you were sitting above the pitch, that pass is not on.
Yeah.
And
well, you would never see it. You would never see that pass in a million
you never
years,
see it.
would you?
Even it just, you looked at it, but he saw that can be there, and then his movement then to follow into the box to just tap it in.
That's why
incredible.
That's why I think he's the best, in my opinion, that I've seen. You say Ronaldo, but I think Ronaldo wouldn't see that pass.
No, I agree.
And I think that's kind of the difference.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed as well, when he's dribbling, the ball's stuck to his toe. So
I wanted to ask you about that. Because that's something that's almost like, how does that? He's almost got a shorter stride, so he can actually get more touches somehow.
But he's quick as well, though.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
He's quite quick, is he?
Yeah, even now.
Yeah.
So in my head, I was just thinking, imagine playing against him 12 years ago in his prime. I'm just thinking, don't know how you could stop it, but yeah. So as a defender, obviously, you try to, if someone takes a heavy touch, you're like buzzing, so you can try to tackle him or nick it off. But it's so stuck to his foot, and he's so jinky. You're just like, you need 2 or 3 players every single time.
Does he drag players around?
Yeah, but
is that part of his game? Does he want to move them out, or does someone else do that? Does Suarez do that for? Because that's what you can't even get your head around.
Suarez,
you're not even playing.
Yeah,
we think of just Messi.
Yeah,
you're playing Suarez, Busquets, and Alba as well.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, Suarez, I think, Liverpool fan, probably gets a nod if he'd have played a bit longer as being in the conversation for the best ever player that we had at Liverpool. Certainly from a skill point of view.
Yeah, I
mean,
the ball when he was one of the best, most recent for sure. I mean, Derek, you're a Liverpool fan as well, mate. We've spoken about Suarez, I think. For me, playing against Suarez would almost be as amazing as playing against Messi. Like Suarez, listen, I know it's obviously, I know there's different levels in it, but my God, like Suarez, what was that like?
So he's just a pure winner. So he will do anything to win the game.
I saw the game, and you and him were having it a little bit, weren't you?
Yeah. So every time I played against him, he's constantly elbowing you.
Yeah.
So, you know, back in the day, you'd play against a striker. You're trying to get in his head a bit. You'll step on his toes. You give him a little elbow or a shoulder.
The dark arts.
Yeah, he's doing that to me. And I was like...
He's not a big guy either, is he?
He's bigger than you think. Like, he's not the
Right.
tallest, but he's solid.
Yeah.
So he was doing that to me, and I was like, fucking... All right, then let's go. But usually you don't get strikers like that unless you're playing like in England. But still, he'd be doing
So in
everything.
the MLS, Derek, you don't really get those little rascal strikers?
Nah, nowhere near.
No?
As
Wow.
much. You still get good forwards, Benteke, but
Yeah, I forgot he was that. Yeah.
there's a lot of good forwards.
played
Well,
with
who's
Benteke,
Benteke
yeah,
playing for?
Washington,
I
wasn't
didn't know he was out here.
Yeah, I played with him at DC United last year. He actually got Golden Boot this year. He was quality.
I didn't even
He's a
know he was
beast.
out here, you know.
How old is he now, Benteke?
I think he's 34, 33, 34.
He's not that old, is he? Like, remember that season he had for Villa?
Yeah,
He was
yeah, yeah.
unbelievable, wasn't he? And then it didn't really happen for him after they went to Liverpool, didn't he, for big money? And it didn't kind of happen, did it? But he was a good player, good striker.
Yeah. But going back to Suarez, he in the playoffs, I think it was the first kick of the game or second half. We do the goal kick. Sorry, the kickoff. You play it back to the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper booms it. So we try to block the forwards just to give the keeper some more time. And I stood there and kind of like went to shoulder him, dives, holds his face, screaming. And he's so good at like pretending. I was thinking, did I hit him here? Like, I was scrambling a bit. I was like, please don't be a red card. Like, I couldn't remember. So then,
We'll get onto red cards in a minute, Derek.
so then I remember about 4 of their players coming up to me going, and I was like, I didn't touch him. So luckily enough, I think he actually got fined after the game because in the MLS, if you dive and they find out you dive, you get fined. So he got fined.
Really?
Yeah.
What sort of money? What money-wise, or?
Yeah, it wouldn't be a lot, but you still get fined.
But you get fined.
Yeah, you
That's
get fined.
quite a good idea. I'd love to see that brought in the. That's one thing that the Premier League's becoming boring with the rolling on the floor.
Oh, it's
Like,
outrageous.
I know it's like I suppose it's come over more from foreign leagues like Italy, Spain, etc. Like we see it a lot more, but it really slows the game down, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's just people that are not injured.
Yeah.
What about any touch in the box and they go down, which wouldn't normally put you down, and then it's a pen? What do we think of that? Is that just the game now, and you've got to get on with it?
I think that's the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it
I
hard
think
being a
so,
defender with
Chris.
that now? Is it as hard like that? Are they as hard on it in the MLS as they are in Premier League?
Yeah, it's probably worse.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
Any touch?
yeah. And then the one I hate the most, the handball.
Yeah.
So about, I think it was 2 seasons ago in Galaxy, I must have gave away about 3 penalties for handballs. And
What, just
I
where
never-
it's ball to hand?
Yeah, there was one where someone was taking a shot. My midfielder is literally a yard from me. It hit his foot, hit my hand, and my hand's just like here. So off my player, off my hand, penalty. And I'm like, Jesus, like, there's nothing you can do.
That,
but-
do you know
They've
what?
changed that, because
You
I saw
say
that in the-
ball
in the-
to hand, Sam. That's a phrase you don't hear anymore, isn't it? You never hear
Not really.
ball
It did
to
happen in
hand
the
anymore.
City game yesterday, actually, though. The ball struck the player's knee, then hit his arm in the box, and referee said no penalty. So they are trying to. I actually feel a bit like, I know the VAR, the handball thing has got so technical that I don't think a referee even I don't think anybody knows what handball is now.
Well, they
'Cause we
change the
saw it
rules
a
every
couple
2
of years
years.
ago, if your arm was in a natural
Unnatural
position, if
position,
it's
yeah.
like they're trying to help it, but I think it should be, is it deliberate handball?
Yeah,
That's
I agree.
that really is it, isn't it? Or if it stops it, but then it's hard. Then say it's going in and your arm's in natural. But I think if it's on the edge of the box or you're just inside the box, it touches you there. That's not handball,
Yeah,
is
what
it?
about this? We had a question a few weeks ago. What would you like to see change in the game? And there was a few like throw-ins, offside rule changes. Is there anything that you think would make the game better? Any of the rules you could change?
Offside. I said
Like
offside.
offside,
Yeah.
if you're in line, like
I like that one. I think
any
one-
part of your body.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Just to see more goals, just to make it more exciting. I think
Yeah.
football's kind of the way it's played nowadays. It's a bit more boring.
Yeah.
like we said, just the pass.
Is it
It's-
boring to play in? Like, do you notice it playing in it
Nah,
to
it's
watching
fu-
it?
No, it's funny because I'm saying it's boring, but that's how I like to play. I like to pass the ball. The whole reason is to like bring them closer to give more space in behind,
Yeah.
basically. So I love trying to pass the ball out, trying to make a striker get annoyed and sprint to me so then I can bounce it and give the midfielder more space.
Yeah.
But I can see why, like when I watch some teams, I'm like, oh, it's a bit boring. Like,
Yeah.
Well, hang on. Going out that pass from the back, that's been Sam's pet peeve of late.
He's been telling me.
Yeah. So what do you think of that? Like, is there a time and a place? Like the whole passing out from the back, is that everyone's doing it now? And
I think you can only do it if
you can do it.
If you've got really good players to do it.
If you have a really good manager who drills it into you. Like, so
But you've got to have the ability to do it as well. You've got to have a keeper firstly that can pass.
and you have to have composure as well.
Yeah.
'Cause if you get players that just get nervous and just hoof it, you can get in trouble. You seen Southampton's goal the other day against Liverpool, actually.
Yeah.
When he went to clear the ball and he just shanked it right into the middle and they scored. Yeah, it's just
Against Arsenal yesterday, Champions League, pass. They put them under pressure, press them, and it was an open goal. He just taps it in. It's like, it's such a cheap goal. When would you ever see a cheap goal like that in the Champions League?
I know.
And now we see it kind of every single week.
Yeah.
It's kind
Derek,
of...
exciting, though, isn't it?
Derek,
I don't
obviously
know, I
we
don't
watched
think it is. Because
That's your team doing it.
Because
It's
I'd look
great
at
to
that,
watch.
if my boys' team at 9 years of age were doing that and conceding a goal every single week, I'd be like, you're not learning anything.
Are you seeing
I
it
think I like the
in the MLS, Derek? Is because obviously mostly we watch the Premier League, right? So, is the MLS the same in terms of what they're trying to do, or are they a little bit more pragmatic?
The one good thing about MLS is you can watch a team and you kind of know how their style of play straight away, because it's been a bit different this off season, but every manager gets time. So obviously in England you don't get the time. You lose 6 games, you're gone.
Yeah.
And it's ruthless. But here, at
But
least
but
you can-
but are
you can
they?
see teams.
Is every team trying to do it in the MLS in the same
just
way
depends
that
on the
they're trying to
manager.
do it in the Premier League?
Yeah, they're not, are they? Because I'm watching that. That's what I just said before we come on there. I actually, watching the MLS now, I actually quite enjoy it because it's a bit still like old football that we love. Get down the wing, cross it. Like, not every team is just passing it from the back. There's some will go, like, when they're losing, let's go long. Let's, like, even your game, Brad Guzan, in that first game of the playoffs, that's got to be one of the best performances ever in a football. He was insane, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's funny.
He saved everything, didn't he?
Yeah, he's quality. He's a madman as well. Like before games, he's shouting, screaming. He actually punched me in that game.
On purpose.
Yeah, I was fuming. So I think we got conceded a corner or something, and he gets so worked up. I was standing beside him. He just turned and gave me a rib shot, and I was like, what the fuck you doing? he's like, I'm sorry. Like he's so like,
Because he's so on.
yeah, that's it. He's so switched on.
He was so good in that game. And
Not only that
anyone
game,
should
but
watch
brilliant.
that first game between you and Vic if they want to see a goalkeeper. Yeah. But it was, what was great about it was like raw goalkeeping. It was like a guy in a park.
Yeah.
Just everything that they're going to throw at me, I am going to say. It was one of them like rare performances. It was incredible to watch though. But it was like, that's why I say it was still like a bit like old football of like, obviously Inter Miami had all that talent. They should on paper wipe the floor with you.
100%.
But you guys almost went, no, we're going to battle for our lives, stay in it. And then a bit of class came and they pushed on and you scored goals. And that was actually, it was great. That was what I think football was. The underdog could win. And we do see it sometimes, the underdog in the Premier League winning. But it's because of like maybe mistakes, or that other team won't change what they're doing. Like Spurs at the weekend against Chelsea. 2-0 up against Chelsea. Take off a striker, put on a central midfielder or like a defender, just go backs to the wall and win the game. But they didn't. It's kind of, that's what's silly, I think.
Yeah.
How about though Inter Miami going to the Club World Cup and not even being the top 5 team or top 4 team in the US? That's bananas.
I think it's just a messy.
Is Galaxy going?
I don't know.
No, I think Miami is
'Cause
the
they've just won it,
only
obviously.
American team, I think.
I'm not sure. You know, I have to
Let
look
me
it up,
check.
but
You know what?
Yeah.
You guys chat on and I'll check.
And obviously that was so when you came here, you signed for LA Galaxy.
Yep.
They just won the title, which was great to see, I suppose. What was your time like there? How long were you there?
I was there for 2 seasons. It was unreal, to be honest with you. Like, obviously, I was at Blackburn before that. I was there for 5 years, and I love Blackburn, but I just wanted something different. Obviously, COVID happened.
Yeah.
Everyone's stuck indoors, so I was wanted to switch it up. Found out Galaxy wanted me, and I was like, Jesus, like
Life change.
yeah. But it was still tough because as a kid, you want to play Premier League. Like,
Yeah.
my whole dream was to play Premier League.
You
Like,
played one game, didn't you?
I played 1 game.
For Villa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long
So
was you at
leaving
Villa
us-
for, Derek?
I was there for 5 years.
Who was the
15
manager then
till-
when you were there?
There was a lot. There was
Martin O'Neill?
Martin O'Neill.
Yeah.
Jared Houllier.
I forgot you went there.
Alex McLeish. Paul Lambert. And then that was it, I think. But
I hear a lot of good things about Martin O'Neill.
yeah, he gave me my debut for Ireland as well.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard on a lot of podcasts with Martin O'Neill that, a bit like Wenger in some ways, not big on tactics. Kind of just go out and play.
Yeah. Kind of like the man management. I remember my debut. So he doesn't do the team before the games. So he'll walk in, dressing room. So usually you get told Friday, we're playing Saturday. Saturday morning comes, pre-match. I was there. I was training well there, but I didn't think I'd play. Have our pre-match, go to the stadium, and then you sit down and he gets a piece of paper and he reads out the names. But he just reels them off like rapid. So you're just sitting there like hoping to hear your name. I remember at Villa he used to do the same. So I used to always try to hear out to see if I was on the bench. So he reads it out in order. So he's like, who was on goal? I can't remember who was on goal. He's like Seamus Coleman, Derrick Williams, and I was like, mate, I shit myself. I was like,
Tell everyone who you were playing though.
it was France.
Yeah.
So
How
it
old was you
France.
then, Derek?
God.
I think I was 23, 24.
What club were you at then?
I was at Blackburn.
Yeah.
Um,
In the Championship?
no,
League One?
We just got promoted.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just like, and then I asked someone next to me, I was like, did he say my name? And then they were like, yeah. And I was like,
Amazing.
so then once that happens, you walk out to the pitch. That's all he says. He just reels off 11 names at the stumps and then walk off out to the pitch, just have a look around. And then Roy Keane comes up to me and he was like, look, just enjoy it. Do what you've been doing in training. You've been doing really well. So I was like, all right, thanks. And then I said to Seamus, I was like, how does he want me to play? Like, I was playing left back. So I was like, does he want me to bomb forward? Does he want me like to just sit and be steady? And then Seamus was like, oh, just go and do how you play. So that was it. And then obviously that was the best moment of my career though, by far.
And you were playing against Mbappe.
Yeah. So it was.
Got some notches, this boy.
So did you find that out? Was that the day of the game you found that out?
It was an hour before kickoff.
So you didn't have too much time to worry about it.
No.
Did that help you, do you think?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But I remember as soon as I found out, because I'm very big on analytics. Like I like to watch the players. As soon as I found out I was playing, I sat down with the video guy. I was watching clips, Mbappe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Giroud played. So it was funny. So I was watching Mbappe, and the same thing he kept doing. He would step over his left, drop to his right, and then hit a shot whenever he got in this certain area in the pitch. So I was playing, and then comes to the edge of the box on the left, and he squares me up, and I was like, he's going to do it. And I know he's going to do it. So I got him here. So he does it, drops his shoulder, pushes it right, leaves 2-3 yards, gets a shot off, and I was like, Jesus. I knew he was going to do it 2 seconds
But you
before.
just couldn't stop it.
Nah.
What is it just because it's so quick?
So quick. And I was like, that's the difference.
Yeah.
That was
Where'd
the
you
first
get
time I
those
felt-
clips from, Derek? Is there an analyst who analyst
on the
who
highlights of the-
gives it to you, or do you just find them on your own?
No, it's called Y Scout and Huddle. So it's like you can watch clips on any player, any game. It's quite good. But yeah, so that was my first time where I said, wow, that's the difference.
That is a different level
Yeah, that was.
to these.
It was funny because when I'm playing the game, I didn't feel out of position at all. Like I felt comfortable.
Yeah.
But just in that moment, I was like, pff. And then there was times where second half, he'd be on my side, the ball's down the other side, and I'm just looking at him. And I'm just like,
Because he must have been young then as well.
He was
17, 18?
flying. So they won the World Cup, obviously, what was it, 3 months later or something like that? So it was pretty cool.
Kind of prime Mbappe.
Yeah.
But is that the difference between levels of player, moments?
I think so. And just consistency. Another moment that stuck out for me was Giroud. So we had Shane Duffy at the back. And Shane Duffy's massive. He's 6'4". One of the best headers I've ever seen. He just eats it up. So the ball came in, corner, and I looked up, and Giroud must have been about 6 feet off the ground. I just remember just looking up, and he's just dunking on Duffy. And I was just like, I couldn't believe it. So, like, that's how they scored. He jumped up, header, keeper saved it, but he got the rebound, tapped it in. But that was another moment. I was just like,
what do you think about Mbappe now, Derek? Because, I mean, obviously he's flatlined a little bit, hasn't he, over the last 5 or 6 years?
Scored this week in the Champions League.
Yeah, but I mean, he definitely hasn't set the world alight how everybody, me included, expected him to do with Madrid. And actually, his last couple of years with PSG weren't great either. Do you think he is progressed in a way that, I mean, because people were talking about him being the best player ever. You know, well, potentially the best player ever.
Never won Ballon d'Or, does he?
Not yet.
No.
He what?
I think his best position is off the left for me. That's why I think his best position, like left of the
and they've got Vinny Jr.
Yeah, so
he's playing down the middle.
Vinny Jr.'s right there. Who's better? Who do you think? That wasn't directly
at this moment.
To Derek,
Vinny
anybody.
Jr. is doing really well, isn't he?
Yeah.
But you haven't seen Mbappe in that position. You can't really compare him. I don't think
it's hard. But then Mbappe won the World Cup pretty much by himself.
If you ask me who would I take, I'd probably take Mbappe over the two just because of that, like the speed.
If you were to play him off the left, I don't know. It's hard. They're both unbelievable.
And also Madrid, it's weird. Madrid have been seen that they're not having a good season. They're 2 points off the top of the league with a game in hand. They are still in the Champions League. They're not flying in the Champions League, but it looks like they'll probably qualify. And did you see Carlo Ancelotti the other day? And he said, "Don't worry about us. We will be in Munich for the final." That's unbelievable, isn't it?
I remember Jurgen Klopp saying,
Would you count against them this year in the Champions League?
Never. Because they just, even when they beat City, like a couple of years ago when they beat us in the final, it's like they just know how to win. It's kind of inbuilt. We were talking about the other day, whether you think you can, you think you can't, you're right. Well, they think they can. And I think that's a massive differentiator. What do you think, Derek?
No, I agree. Just that club, just unbelievable. I was lucky enough to go to El Clasico.
There's something special.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's the one game that I think I said the other day that I'd like to go to. I've never been to it.
Yeah, I was lucky enough. My mate took me when I was 12. So El Clasico, Ronaldinho, Zidane.
Oh, wow.
Guti, Raul, Messi. Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Where was it? Bernabeu or?
Bernabeu.
Wow.
Yeah. Madrid won 2-0. Beckham played.
That's what I was going to say. Did Beckham play? And then let's get Derek's answer. Was Beckham world class or no?
I didn't watch him enough, to be honest with you. Well, I don't know.
Say yes.
What was your answer?
Ask him the other one as well. Yes, Beckham world class.
I think he's world class, 100%.
Yeah, no, listen.
We've got to ask him the other one.
Lampard,
Scholes, or
we
Gerrard?
all decide. Okay, go on. Yeah, I know the answer.
Lampard, Scholes, or Gerrard?
I know what Derek's going to say.
No,
it's not even close.
I'm not going to win this one.
It's not close. It's not even a conversation. Sam, you should be ashamed to waste time asking that question.
I've taken some flack this week off the thing. Man said I was a complete idiot looking for clickbait, I think it was, because I said the most unmemorable team will win the Premier League this year, and I stand by that.
I thought about that comment, and I don't think you're a million miles away.
Honestly. I don't know.
I mean, I think it's a fair, because you look back at the teams gone by and you look at the superstars, and I think the level of football may be similar, maybe, but in terms of, I don't think it's as controversial as it may sound.
One of the biggest agents in the world messaged me after that comment and went 1,000%.
There you go.
11
Well,
robots.
that
Was
just
exactly
goes
what
to
he wrote
show
back.
how little
I'm
fucking
not gonna say how it was.
agents know.
All right,
That just goes to show how little they know these agents. Because
Yeah, go on,
there's just no way in the world that whoever wins the league this year will be the least memorable team.
I agree with you.
There's just no way.
I think
Whoever
we look
wins,
back
it's
in
going to
5,
be the
6
best
years.
team. End of story.
I think we look back in 5, 6 years. You go, Alisson, one of the best keepers in the league ever. Salah,
Van
I think.
Dijk.
Trent, Robertson. I know Robertson's not performing as he was, but them
Still
two,
great.
he's one top 5 left backs in ever. I think. In the Premier League.
How long have we got
Van
there,
Dijk.
Emmerich? 3 minutes.
I think Konate is going to be.
I'm
in
going to
5 years'
say
time.
I'm going to save my one this week for the second half of our show because I know it's going to cause mayhem with what.
All right, I'm looking forward to saying that. But
Well, hang on,
do you know
hang on,
what?
Hang on. He's talking about Liverpool being the best
Yeah,
ever
exactly.
team.
Yeah,
go on, so you go back. You go back. I'm
Let's
coming
not-
back
let's
to my
not
comment
paper over
after.
this.
Two and a
Two
half
centre
minutes.
halves. I think Van Dijk obviously one of the best ever. Konate, I think 5, 6 years time you're going to be thinking he's quality. I think he's quality already. McAllister, World Cup winner already. Gravenberch, or however you say his name. I think 5 years time you're going to be thinking what a player he is.
Player, yeah.
I know you always say Nunes. I think Diaz is
No,
just a
I
good
actually
player.
like Nunes and Diaz. I like them both. I've got, like I say, but I just if I'm putting that team for team
Next to
against
Sadio
each
and
other,
Firmino.
yeah, them
But,
two.
but
I think
what are
was
you
special.
talking about, team for team? So then, shall we?
But you can
talk
also
about
do
the
that with Man United. You can
1966
say
World
that-
Cup winning team, like the team that wins is the team that wins. But go on, Derek. So
No, but I'm saying
because-
there's memorable teams and there's unmemorable teams.
well,
that have
the
won
memorable
Premier League.
teams will
I think
depend
it might
on
go down as
the
one of the most
time when you
memorable,
remember the team most.
Title
battles.
races.
Title races, yeah. I think there's going to be a lot of
And
twists
that might
turns,
make it a memorable
you know,
team.
I think the fact that we're so far ahead, which I think is unfair because there's so many games to go. Like we don't, a week ago we're going to win. It's impossible for us to lose. Now we're only 4 points clear, one loss, and it's game on. We've got to play everyone again. I think there's going to be lots of twists and turns, and I hope we obviously come out on top. But so I think it might be for the neutral one of the best title races
100%.
in living memory. I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Right, we're going to have a quick short break and we'll be back in a minute with my new bombshell. Welcome back to Football or Soccer, the podcast. We have got Derrick Williams here with us, Atlanta United, Messi Slayer, MLS hero. So we were just talking about memorable teams. I've got to say, I've got to get this off my chest. So Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah.
Is this guy, because he's gone.
You're
in
gonna
the-
It's going to annoy me.
In the
All
last-
Liverpool fans are looking.
Yeah.
Going,
No.
what's
In the
coming?
last 2 years, right, we've gone from this geezer can't defend, right? And everyone's gone, okay, yeah, but he's an amazing passer, right? To people going, I don't really rate him. Oh, he's a midfielder now. Couldn't do that. Went to England, tried it. He's played midfield against a couple of games. Is he a top world-class right back? And I know we're going to say he's passing. I know that, and that is his strength.
Well,
and I'm all for that as well. He's one of the best passers there.
Well, I want to hear the defender in the room, obviously. So, but has his defending not got better under Slot this year? Like, has he like measurably better at that part of the game? And if he becomes even 10% better at defending with what he can do attacking, surely he is a generational talent.
Oh, fucking this generational talent again. Fuck me. What, him and Rashford playing the team together?
I said, listen, Rashford had the potential to be as well. I wanted to say.
Yeah, so did my
and I
auntie,
think
but
he
she
might have
done a
been
cruise
mismanaged
ship.
and why he didn't. Well, what do you think? Should Marcus Rashford have been a generational talent, or
Yeah, 100%.
was See,
He was scoring hat tricks on his debut. At
He
18
should
or
have, but he
something,
didn't have the mental capacity to
was
do
it
it.
mental capacity or bad management?
Oh, it's not bad management. Bad management was keeping him at the club, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
And I think we are going to see a massive clear out in Man United now. I saw today that apparently Rashford's available for 40 million.
All right.
That
Before we start getting into the silly stuff, what do we all class as a generational talent? Because what the question we're asking is probably
It's so
gonna be
it's so
different
open
for everybody.
Yeah. I think
What, world class?
world class. What is world
But
class?
what
I
is
suppose?
world class?
World class
yeah.
for me is a starting 11.
Yeah.
You play your best starting 11 in the world. They have to. be
Would
in that,
Trent be in that?
potentially.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Depends who the manager is.
I know Carl Walker's having a bad few games now, but would you have played Carl Walker?
Carl
over
Walker's
Trent?
done. Carl Walker's toast. He's toast.
No,
now.
but forget that. He's now 36 years of age, right? Okay, let's
done
take
now.
Kyle Walker in his
All
prime
right, so then
versus Trent in his prime.
should we start
Kyle
thinking
Walker's
about
blah.
right backs of all time, or are we talking about today?
Probably a more effective defender, isn't he?
He's a much and very good at getting up
And
as
his
well.
speed. Yeah.
So you would probably take Kyle Walker, Danny Carvajal.
But
I'm taking Trent over Carvalho.
Would you?
Is he not a different right? Has he not changed the game?
I
Talk
do it.
about
That's
this
what's
playing out
hard
from
to
the
say
back.
about
Like,
this.
You know, when we were growing up, defenders didn't have the technical ability to do what they're asking them to do now, right? I mean, it's and he's got technical ability. Talking about maybe a right foot like Beck's, world class Beck's, FYI.
No, I do agree. No, what I mean is
You know,
we've
but I
gone
mean,
from
without being funny.
probably a season ago talking about this guy as an absolute liability at the back from pundits. They just go on about it every single week. That he can't defend. He's never been the England right back. All of a sudden they put him in midfield because they couldn't
By
find.
the way, do you think that's a mistake?
I do.
Yeah.
Maybe it was, and that this is the question I'm asking. Like, do you
getting
think
away with that? By the way,
you can't? All these managers can't seem to think, and pundits. Then all of a sudden, it shifted. I think in the summer at the Euros, where everyone kept saying Trent's got to play, Trent's got to play. They played in midfield, and he wasn't good enough. Then everyone shifted away from Trent's a midfielder. Where do we put him now? And all of a sudden, since then, it's Trent's best in the world. Everyone's opinion's changed on him, but his game hasn't really changed.
I think he's playing different now than he was with Klopp. I think under Klopp, they were both flying, him and Robertson.
They were more exposed.
Yeah, 100%.
Way more
But
exposed.
I do think Konate helps Trent massively. I think Konate's
Yeah.
he can handle that whole right side by himself. So when Trent goes forward, someone runs in the channel, you can see the striker kind of gives up. When they look at who's running at him, the perfect example was Martinelli, I think it was. He went to run and you're just thinking, how can you get past this guy? He's 6'4", 6'5". He's quicker than
He's a unit.
Forward.
Yeah.
And he's
stronger.
lightning quick as well. He's lightning quick.
I think he's going to be one of the best in the world in like 2 years' time.
Konate.
I think he's still a bit
Yeah,
raw.
he's superb,
but I
yeah.
think he helps Trent. I think he takes a lot of the defensive sides.
Hearing how Virgil talks about him is exciting.
I haven't heard
you
him.
know. Well, he was talking about, there was that, we were talking about Carragher.
Yeah.
How Carragher is loved, obviously, at Liverpool, and rightly so. And then when the question was asked by Gary Neville, like, does Carragher get into and he's like, in front of Konate? And it's like, for Virgil to be talking about Konate like that with a guy that we won a team of Carragher's, when Carragher was looked at with such,
Virgil also never played with Carragher and probably never really watched Carragher either.
Yeah. But
And
still,
Konate's his mate that plays with him.
but
So.
when I heard him say that, I was like, "Fucking hell, that's strong."
Yeah.
For Konate, I mean, so
No,
Going back to Trent, why has no one ever tried him on right wing?
because he's got
You
Mohamed
might be able to
Salah
explain
in
that
front
better
of
than
him.
me. But
I just don't think people play like that anymore. Like,
No, but
how
even-
often do you see you spray it out wide, the winger opens his body out and just whips it?
Yeah.
no.
Because
You're
usually,
talking Beckham
usually
right
teams
wing,
play
Sam.
with one striker.
No, but he's got good shooting, like Trent. Could you? Because they play him on the opposite sides, didn't they?
What,
could
to
you
cut
not?
inside?
Yeah, could he do that? I don't. That's my. I don't know the answer to that. I'm just asking because we all talk about how good he is going forward.
Yeah, I still think I don't think he's as bad as defending as people.
Is that
As you're
also the
saying.
thing? Did people make too much of
Well,
his defending?
He did talk about how Arne Slot has really improved that with little tweaks, like even just like his body. I saw he was interviewed. He was talking about if you just move slightly there or put your foot there, then that'll give you the chance to do that. And he said that even just the smallest things has exponentially added to his game defending wise. And so
I think he's unbelievable. I think he's. Who are you taking ahead of him now? Like today, right back. Who are you taking ahead of him?
To be honest with you, you could say that about if you had to build a world back four now. I'd be struggling with it because I think it's so different now. Because what are you looking for? Are you playing out from the back? You need the four best passers in
Yeah,
in
but
the
just
world to be able to do it. Trent does come
just
into that
narrow
without
in,
a doubt.
narrow into right back though, Sam. Who are you taking? Who is better?
No,
than him
I
as a
agree.
right back?
Look, Kyle Walker's. I think
Kyle
Kyle Walker
Walker's
is
not
one of the best.
Kyle Walker's out of the
No.
question.
I mean, Kyle Walker, I think, was a much better right back, and that's why he played for England.
2
I
years
believe.
ago.
Yes, a year ago, even the beginning.
Even
of
a
the
year
season.
ago, but not today.
No, not today.
he was better for how Southgate wanted to play. right? I mean, he didn't have that creativity going forward that Trent does, and Southgate clearly didn't want that. He wanted a more.
Well, it has been funny
solid,
since Southgate's left. We've seen Trent playing a lot more, haven't we?
Yeah.
So
he's been getting man of the matches as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, and goals. So yeah, I think it's sometimes harsh. I think because you can't have been my flip side to my own argument. You can't have been a terrible defender and win the Champions League.
That's right.
Although
and the
Jimmy
Premier
Traore
League,
did.
and the FA Cup, and the League Cup, and etc. etc. Like,
I reeled you all in with that one, didn't I? And fucked you with your own players.
Let's play devil's advocate a little bit. Derek, if you were in his position, and let's just assume Real Madrid were saying, "My guy will take you, and you're going to be our right back," what would you do?
I'm leaving.
So would I.
Yeah. Do you know what?
You never get
mate?
that opportunity to play for Real Madrid.
You know
ever
what?
again,
I
will you?
probably would too. I would go too. Yeah. I would hate to see him go, and I really hope he doesn't. But I would never blame him if he did.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
I think, in my opinion, I think that's the pinnacle.
Of football.
Yeah, Barcelona and Real Madrid. I think every player. I think
There's something about that white kit that it looks special, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It's
I
just
think
the biggest football club and the biggest sport on the earth.
yeah.
You know.
I think. Do you think Gerrard regrets staying?
I don't
Yeah,
think
well,
so.
Not regrets.
No, I don't think so.
Not regret. I think no. Do you think if all his family didn't love Liverpool as much, do you think he'd say, "Okay, let me go Real Madrid"? And
I mean, but that's
Go win
ifs.
the Champions.
That's ifs, buts, and
I bet
maybes,
he's
isn't
glad he didn't go
it?
to Chelsea.
yeah,
Well, I don't know
that-
because he would have won it all.
I don't think that's.
I think as fans,
think
we
he's
get
such a
caught in the
scouser, that.
disillusion that these players love the club because you've got to remember it's your job. Like, yeah, you like the club and things like that,
Yeah.
but ultimately, if you're Steven Gerrard or a top Wayne Rooney, etc., and you know you can win titles, it's very hard to give that up to be loved in a city. But then,
I'll bet he wishes he didn't go the year before he did. I think if he could have played with Klopp, even just for a season, I think.
Yeah, I agree with
would
that.
have been
Yeah, I think he
something-
said that though
something
as
different.
well,
I think-
Chris.
yeah.
I think he said,
Yeah.
"I wish I would have stayed," but I think Rodgers
'Cause
was.
I think he had.
I think Rodgers was pretty insistent.
Yeah.
and he kind of, which I don't blame him either. But I think he would have stuck that out, and maybe I think he might have had one season in some capacity, and obviously the level he was at. But
Yeah.
I think we'd have all loved to have seen that, wouldn't we?
yeah.
well,
Levy.
moving on, Manchester City. Another loss yesterday, 2-0 to Juventus, and not a great Juventus either. Another team in a bit of transition. 7 losses in 10,
Uncharted
1
territory.
win in 10.
Yeah.
To me, Pep looks like he is under the pump at this minute. This week, he's come out and said, I won't be managing club football anymore, maybe international football. I wonder what England thought of that. And I wonder if he's being lined up for that job, because surely you have to go for
What,
it.
England?
Yeah.
Well,
I know Tuchel's
hang
in, but
on.
you,
I want to ask you.
Oh, yeah,
before
that's
that,
actually great. I know
want
what
to
you're gonna ask.
Do you think we need a superstar manager to be the England manager? It's always been had such attention on that role. Do you think we place too much attention on it and too much value on that guy being the best manager in the world, as opposed to someone that can just get the best out of arguably one of the best squads in the world? Have we got that right, though?
I have no idea. I hate watching England.
Derek cares.
I hate international
Derek
football,
cares
really. It's
about
boring, isn't it?
Yeah.
England
Yeah,
as
I
much
just
as
think-
I care about Man City.
Yeah. I only care about Ireland, so.
Oh, yeah, there we go. That's fair.
But I think Pep would be good for England. I think he's obviously he has John Stones, Phil Foden. I just want to see Foden, Palmer, Grealish. I want to see them all play together. Bellingham, Kane. I want to see them all play at once.
well, they did
I
it.
mean,
Lee Carsley did
Kane's
it.
going to be done by the time anybody goes there after.
Willie, he's having a blinding season
World Cup.
again.
Yeah.
Like, he is flying again. I think he's injured at the minute. I think he's picked up an injury, but he's scoring goals. He's scoring goals at Erling Haaland's rate, which is Is he done? I don't like his.
I'd like to see him come back to the Prem and try beat
I bet
that
Shearer
record.
wouldn't, because he's only, I think, 40 goals off of Shearer.
I think if he came back, he'd do that.
30,
31.
31.
Yeah,
he's got
but
time.
he's had a hard career, Kane. Like, he gets injured at least once every season. Like, his
Yeah,
body.
but
his
look how
body
many
must
goals
be
he
struggling.
scored.
On
No.
that point, what would you give Mo Salah in terms of contract at Liverpool?
2 year?
Yeah.
What do
Yeah.
you think?
2 years? Yeah, minimum. Yeah, I think so.
And what? How much? The max?
I think you've got to give him what he's on, I think, haven't you? Because he's proven that he can. He's like, he doesn't look any less fit than he was when he came in. Probably looks fitter.
Yeah.
He's scored every
And-
game now, hasn't he?
And he's
Scored another penalty. Did he score a penalty in Champions League
Yeah,
this
he
week?
won this game yesterday. I mean, again, the
1-0
Newcastle
was the game?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we were. I don't think we were on fire there either.
No,
Also,
we,
like,
we didn't play
Who are you
well.
going to buy? How much are you going to have
that's
to
the
pay
key.
to buy?
Yeah, that's the key, isn't it?
But
Would
even
you?
now, if you're thinking right wingers in the world, who's up there for the best?
It's him.
Who else? Saka.
Saka, of course.
You could say Cole Palmer coming off the right, but there's not many.
Jared Bowen. Look, bear in mind, let's say look, Jared Bowen. It's a different. I'm just going to say different level to Salah. But if you look at no.
No, I rate him as well.
Right. But his output last year for West Ham was bigger than Saka's
Was it?
Yeah.
for goals and assists. So you
This makes me laugh because you.
He's
love
also
West Ham.
playing. no, but he's also playing for West Ham.
Yeah.
Would he be better in a bigger team? Maybe. But you're talking about if you went and bought Jared Bowen, it's going to cost you 100 million.
Yeah.
From West Ham.
Is it really?
That's Jared
Not
Bowen.
at-
That's what
not
I'm
at
saying.
his
So
age,
you want to go
no.
and buy Saka, you're going to be looking at 150.
And then you've got to pay his wages.
And then the wages, that's what I mean. So to replace him, if I'm City, I'm going for Salah. I think he's.
For
You're
Salah.
going for
Yeah,
who?
why would you not? If I was City, I would go for Salah.
FSG will sort it out.
Yeah, they'll sort it out.
They
Yeah,
haven't
they
put
will.
a foot wrong for
Yeah.
us since they've come in.
And if
They're
I'm
the
Man
best
United,
owners.
I'd go
They
for
won't let
Salah.
it- I'm telling you now, Sam.
If I was Salah, I wouldn't go Man United.
our
But,
owners
He'd
won't let
never
it
do
happen.
that.
They won't. They'll figure
but
it
they can't. The answer is
He'll still
they
be playing
can't
next-
stop him.
I understand.
Because he's
He'll still
going.
be there next year.
Yeah, no. Well, I hope so for Liverpool's case because I think it's going to be. I don't think you can replace him. I think you probably have to replace him with 2 or 3 players in a team to get around it because you're not going to replace him. He's so good.
Unless they've got something up their sleeve that we just don't know about. If there's someone in the account, like, you know, and even that. I don't think. you can replace him.
I think he'll sign a new contract. I think he will
Yeah.
because there's been, there was so much time when there was nothing, no news, and then over the last week you've seen, Salah's actually signed the contract. They're just waiting to announce it. Blah blah blah. And that all came from multiple outlets, which means that something's probably very close. Same with Van Dijk. I think the only one I think is not close is Trent, but I think he'll probably leave.
Might change
But,
their minds if they win the league and Champions League or something like this year. They might go, ooh, wait there, we might be onto a good thing here. This could be, or they might think we've done 2 leagues, 2 Champions Leagues. This is the time to sign out.
Well,
It could be.
it
I don't think
depends who
Salah's
you're
that kind of
talking
player,
about, though, because if you're talking about Salah and Van Dijk, they want to sign. I don't think there's any doubt about that. They do. Trent, I don't think he wants to.
Well, let me ask you this, Toe, on that. So, how much do the agents come into it? Like the agents, in terms of how much sway do they have? Like, because they get paid on the contract term, right?
Yeah,
So
I mean,
how much are they like saying? Well, if you don't get 3, you should go and do this. And does that?
yeah,
You hope not. You hope
I
you've got the
think the
fiduciary
agent.
Imagine how much
else.
you'll be getting to get Salah to Saudi
But that's
as an
what-
agent.
That's my point.
Yeah, but
like,
it could be
Saudi's
costing you-
going to be
you could be
open
getting
to
20 mil.
Salah no matter what. In 2 years' time, it'll still be open to him. I don't
think so as well,
I
yeah.
don't
I agree
think
with that,
he's
Tom,
the
but my
type of
point is,
person.
do the agents, can they influence that?
I think they can, but I think at that level, not so much. I think
Yeah, I
think
agree
they'd
there.
understand
Yeah.
and
they've made multi millions already. Salah doesn't seem like a player that just wants to go play in Saudi. I think he
No.
still looks hungry and wants to win.
Yeah.
Same with Van
Cares about
Dijk.
his
I-
legacy, right?
I think
as
Trent
well.
wants to go win.
I
Champions
think
League
he
with
knows he's
Real
got a
Madrid.
lot more left in him at the top level than to go to
Yeah.
Saudi. I think that's why he didn't go last year. I think
And
one
look,
of
I think it might be different if Salah and Van Dijk were being maybe eyed by Real Madrid as well. maybe that would be different because Trent has got to be looking at it like, I may never get this opportunity ever again. Yeah. Like, and it is an opportunity.
Yeah, that's why Trent's
in a different country.
Stop it. He's staying. Stop putting that in the world. Come on. It's not fair.
Let's get him to Atlanta.
Get him at Atlanta. That's what he fancies.
All right, listen, going back to Pep, because that was your question, it's a good one. And I think that this will be potentially a career-defining moment for Pep, because you obviously go one of two ways. This is uncharted territory. It's never happened. And if Pep, and I believe he is the winner and the generational, there's no question about that with him, obviously, talent. I think he comes through this. I don't think he walks. I don't see that.
Chris, you fucking love that generational talent line, don't you?
He loves that. He loves it.
He loves
it.
Chris, generational talent. Dyson.
Generation game over here.
I didn't mean to say it last
Chris
week. And it's now,
Forsyth.
yeah, I know. But no, I do think that he will. I don't think he'll shy away from the challenge, and I think he's too good to do that. I don't see him walking on the back of this. I think he'll find a way.
He's changing every week, though. I've got to say, he's. At the end, we were watching it yesterday. The end of the game against Juventus, they called it on. I don't know if it was Rob Green on the commentary, said this is tactical snobbery.
Yeah.
Because he refused to go for the game, not in another way. And we've never really thought of Pep saying, I will only play this way.
He's earned the right not to question him, though, hasn't he, as well?
I completely agree.
Yeah, he has, agreed. Yeah.
Like, no one's done.
And he's obviously Rodri, and I think you put Rodri back in that team, all of a sudden he's got Rodri who's got to come back from cruciate. It's a cruciate, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bad
Which you don't know if they'll come back.
You know the way you're saying about changing the way you play. So say if you were a manager or you're a manager, would you change? Like, say if you have a philosophy, this is how I want to play. I want to play like Klopp.
Yeah.
And you go to a team and you're losing 2-0. Are you changing mid-game and going, right, let me just hoof it long and then risking losing your job?
Well, he never did he?
Say if you got sacked, would you look back and think, shit, I wish I just stayed to what was true to me?
And also, he's also done it, bearing in mind.
Well,
he won the league without
3 in 5 minutes, dude.
Well, that's what I mean.
Exactly.
So he has done it, and he won the league without a striker.
Yeah, that's right.
The only manager ever to do that. He false 9.
Yeah.
Like they did not have a striker at the club for the whole year, did they? Yep. So he's done it. I think he looks and says, "I believe in these players." But it's weird how that confidence it's gone from them.
Well, how's that on the inside, Derek? Like how much of a factor is that as a team? You know, when you're because you're the same player, you know, and so what's
and these still the players that are still there are still the best in the world.
They're still exactly, and he's still Pep Guardiola. So is it palpable that like
it's funny? It's like you don't lose confidence. It's just things don't go your way. Like you get really unlucky. Like there's things that you don't think will happen, and you're like, fucking hell. Like we went on a bad road last year. I think we lost like 5 or 6 or something like that. Bad run, and everything was going wrong. Like I remember the left back cut inside. You watch his clips. He never kicks the ball with his right foot. This is the opposite. The opposition left back. Sorry, cuts in right foot, bends the top corner, and you're just like, when like what's going on here? So just everything that goes against you, and it's just the luck, and you're like, when's this going to change? And then it just takes one moment, like one lucky deflection,
one big tackle, one
lucky goal, and you're like, you get that belief again, and then you get on a run, and then, like I was saying before, you just stick to what you know, you stick to the process or the formation, and it comes good again. But yeah,
I'm surprised.
What do you boys think?
Because we've seen him do it with John Stones into midfield. I'm surprised he hasn't gone, let's try John Stones in Rodri's position to see if that can work. Or
he used to play in Rodri's position, though, didn't he? John Stones.
Pardon?
John Stones has played in Rodri's position before, and he's done well.
That's what I mean. We haven't seen him.
Champions League final. He was stepping into midfield, wasn't he? Against Inter Milan.
Right, and it worked. But what I think Pep is doing, he's saying, listen, this is, I might need to build another team. What did he sign? It was 3-year contract, I think.
No.
Right?
It's one with a year extension, I think.
Okay. So he's...
By the way, when we won the league, they had a bad time. But obviously, that's why we won the league, because they didn't have a great season. It wasn't this, obviously, but then they come back the next year and smash everyone around again. So
No, mate, we won the league because we were the
does
best
feel a bit
team in
different
the
though, doesn't it,
league.
this time round.
Had nothing to do with
does.
anybody else.
What was that, Tom? I missed you. Sorry, brother.
I said we
said
won
'cause
the
we're the
league
best team
because
in
we
the
were the
league.
best
Yeah,
team
yeah.
in the league.
Well, yeah, I agree with that as well.
Memorable team.
As we will this
Right.
year.
Man City stung over.
We
here,
have got to
honestly.
finish up there. Thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully we get you on again soon.
Yeah, it was good. Enjoyed it.
Nervous?
Nah, I was more nervous walking in. My missus
So
was giving me some
as
stick.
Derek walked in, his wife Naomi's here, and she went, "Don't be nervous."
She loves it. So, nah, it was good.
Brilliant.
Just to
And
talk
good
some
luck. You
shit.
got a nice long. You have a nice long break in the MLS, didn't you? When are you back to work?
We're back to 11th of Jan. To be fair, this time it hasn't been too bad. We got about 6 or 7 weeks before when we didn't make playoffs. It was like 3 months, so it was tough.
So that is nice. The nice little bit of
Yeah.
little bit of break, and you always get Christmas in the MLS, which is
Yeah, it's
pretty good, isn't it?
Nah, it is good.
Well,
What you
thank you
do,
guys.
Derek? What you do when you're off? Like, do you still keep yourself, couple of times a week, few times a week?
Yeah, so we get programs sent out to us.
Oh, you do?
So at the moment it's 1 day on, 1 day off, and then it'll go to like 2 days on, 1 day off, 3 days on, 1 day off. So I don't mind it. I like running.
Yeah.
I like running around here.
And what about obviously?
house.
It's run round anyway. It's nice round here.
Without being
What was that?
specific to what you're doing, like, do they fine you if you come back and you're a little bit overweight or your body fat percentage is off or what? Like, or is it just
So-
get back into it?
Over here, they're not as strict, but in England, you go back over, you get fined. You go in, we call it Fat Club. Right.
You go to
Cancelled.
Fat Club. Wasn't
So
that
you're
a
in
TV
the
show in
morning
England
doing
at
extra
one
bike.
point? Wasn't it a TV show in England called Fat Club?
Fat Camp, I think it is, or something like that. Yeah.
No, it wasn't one of those reality shows. It was like
Derek's going on it in a couple of weeks.
And the podcast was going so well. And then,
Yeah, no, to be fair, if anyone at Atlanta is watching this, I offered Derek chocolates last night and he said no, so I will admit he's been eating really well. So he hasn't had any. You're quite
I had about
strict,
4
aren't you?
beers though. didn't
What, this morning? We're filming this at 9 o'clock. He's pissed at his head. Right, everyone, we'll see you later. There's another episode coming up after this, which we filmed earlier in the week as well. So we are literally putting out content out of our arse, aren't we? At the minute.
some would say, yeah, exactly.
Right, see you all later.
Thanks, folks.